I wonder if anyone can relate to this, because I used to think the reason I felt so mentally exhausted all the time was because life was genuinely busy. There was always another deadline, another goal I hadn't reached yet, another habit I was trying to build, and another version of myself I was trying to become. It made sense that I felt drained on a day-to-day basis. At least, that's what I told myself. But then I started noticing something uncomfortable. Even on the quiet days where nothing particularly stressful happened, I still went to bed feeling like my brain had run a marathon. And after paying attention for a while, I realized it wasn't because I had been doing too much. It was because I had spent almost the entire day thinking about one person, myself. Not in an arrogant or narcissistic way, more in the way that anxiety quietly tricks you into doing, like overthinking. I was constantly replaying conversations, wondering if I sounded awkward, thinking about what people thought of me, or whether or not I was making enough progress in my life. Whether I should be doing more, whether I was wasting time, or whether I was somehow falling behind everyone else my age. My body could be sitting across from another person, while my mind was somewhere else entirely, trapped in this endless, exhausting conversation with itself. The strange thing is, I actually don't think I'm unique. I think that's just what happens to us when life feels uncertain. Our attention slowly folds inward. We become the main character in every thought we have, and every interaction somehow becomes about us. Did I say the wrong thing? Did they misunderstand me? Should I have done something differently? We end up carrying ourselves around like a puzzle we're constantly trying to solve. And honestly, after a while, it's exhausting trying to live your life while also narrating every second of it. A month ago, I was reading The Fish Book, a small book built around 4 surprisingly simple ideas. One of them was called Make Their Day. I'll be honest, I almost dismissed it immediately because it sounded like the kind of phrase you'd see hanging on the wall of a break room in an office. Just a nice sentiment, but probably nothing I'd remember a week later. This principle stuck with me, not because it taught me something revolutionary, but because it quietly challenged the direction of my attention. It made me wonder if one of the fastest ways to improve your own life isn't necessarily by thinking about yourself more, but by thinking about yourself a little less. To be honest, that almost sounds backwards. We're constantly told to focus on ourselves, to improve yourself, heal yourself, take care of yourself, find yourself, build yourself. And then there's nothing really wrong with any of those things whatsoever. Self-reflection is indeed important. It's how we grow, it's how we improve. But somewhere along the way, reflection can quietly become fixation. We spend so much of our time trying to understand ourselves that we forget there's an entire world of people carrying struggles just as real as our own. I remember walking into a clothing store one afternoon during my lunch break. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, I was mostly just passing the time. The employee at the register looked exhausted and bored, and I think I noticed because I used to work retail myself. I remember what those shifts felt like, standing for hours, helping customer after customer, smiling just because it was part of the job, while most people were too busy to really see you or care. When I went to pay, she handed me my bag with the kind of automatic smile you learn to wear after a long day. Before I left, I simply said to her, "Hey, thanks. I hope the rest of your shift goes by quickly. I've been there." It took maybe 5 seconds to say. She smiled again, but this time it felt genuine. I barely remember what I bought that day, but I do remember her face. What surprised me even more was what happened afterward. My own problems didn't disappear. I still had work to get back to. I still had things I was anxious and overthinking about. But for a few minutes, my own thoughts stopped feeling so loud. Nothing in my life had changed. The only thing that changed was where my attention was pointing. That realization stuck with me because it made me wonder how much of our unhappiness comes from the fact that our attention almost never leaves ourselves. When we're anxious, everything somehow becomes personal. We're constantly checking in with our emotions, our future, appearance, success, what other people think of us. And it makes sense because in a way we're trying to protect ourselves. But if all your attention is pointed inward all the time, eventually your own thoughts start echoing back at you. And I think that's exhausting. One of the loneliest things, in my opinion, about modern life is that we're all walking around carrying invisible conversations inside our own heads. The person sitting next to you in class is probably wondering if they're enough. The friend who suddenly stopped replying as much might be overwhelmed with something they've never actually told anyone. The cashier scanning your groceries might be counting the minutes until their shift ends because they're looking forward to playing with your dog at home. And honestly, the person who seems the most confident or the most talkative and extroverted in the room might be questioning themselves just as much as you are. I think a universal truth is that all of us want to be and feel seen. The problem is, we're often so busy wondering whether other people see us that we forget to see them first. A few weeks later, I was scrolling through old photos when a friend I hadn't spoken to in months popped up. My first thought was, I should probably text him and catch up. My second thought, on the other hand, was the one that usually wins. He's probably busy, it's been a while, it'll be random, I'll just do it another time. But for whatever reason, I ignored that voice. I sent over a simple message. Hey, what's up? I don't know why, but you crossed my mind today, and I hope you're doing all right. He replied later that evening, and he told me that it had been one of the hardest weeks he'd had in a long time, and that my message came at exactly the right moment. I honestly remember sitting there thinking about how close I came to never actually sending that message, not because I was afraid, but because I assumed it wouldn't matter. I wonder how moments like that quietly slip and disappear every day. How many thoughts and compliments stay inside our heads because we assume they'll sound awkward or cringy? How many friends we actually mean to check in on, but never quite get around to? How many people feel invisible simply because everyone around them assumes that someone else will notice them, someone else will take care of them, they can take care of themselves? What's fascinating is that we rarely remember ordinary days. Entire months disappear from memory. But ask someone, anyone, about a fun or wacky compliment they received years ago, and they can often tell you exactly who said it and exactly where they were standing. For some, it might be a teacher who believed in them, a stranger who noticed something nobody else did, a coworker who thanked them for something that had gone completely under the radar. The person giving the compliment probably forgot about it before the day was over, but the person receiving it carried it for years. That's such a strange thought, because you can become a part of someone's story without ever realizing you entered it. And I don't think that's because those moments are extraordinary whatsoever. I think it's because they interrupt something. They interrupt the feeling of being invisible, the quiet belief that nobody notices, and for a few seconds, they remind someone that they matter. And maybe that's what the principle "make their day" is really about. It's not necessarily about making people happy or fixing their problems, or necessarily becoming someone who spends every waking moment trying to please everyone else. It's simply choosing, whenever you can, to make someone feel seen or heard. Because the truth is, meaning often comes from contribution, not consumption. We spend so much of our lives trying to consume the next thing that will finally make us feel fulfilled, like a better job, more money, more followers, another achievement, another purchase. But some of the moments that stay with us the longest aren't the things we received. They're the moments we gave something away. A little encouragement, gratitude, and attention. And individually, none of those things cost very much, but they can be worth more than we ever realize. I've also realized that this has nothing to do with becoming a people pleaser. Those are two very different things. People pleasing comes from needing something in return: approval, acceptance, validation. But making someone's day is different. You're not trying to earn your worth, you're expressing it. You're reminding someone they matter without asking them to prove that you do. These days, whenever I catch myself spiraling, like overthinking a conversation or comparing myself to someone else, I try asking myself a different question. Not, why do I feel like this? But who have I noticed today? It's such a small shift that it feels almost insignificant. Yet, almost all the time, my mind becomes just a little quieter. Not because my problems disappear, they're still there. They just stop being the only thing I can see. And maybe that's been the lesson hiding inside those 3 simple words all along. Maybe we spend so much time wondering whether we matter because we forget how much power we have to make someone else feel like they matter. So today, before your thoughts pull you back into everything you're worried about, I just want to leave you with one question. Is there anyone whose day you could make just a little better today? I know who I'm going to say it to. Thanks for watching, Gerardo, and I'll see you in the next video.